I think you were at Orange Coast Title, right?
Yep, Orange Coast
Yep.
Title, and
Yep.
it was wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah. And you know what? Kind of thinking about the way to fire people up. And right now it's all about getting leads, getting business, right? We want more buyers, we want more listings, we want more sellers. The trick of one of the tricks that I learned back in '83 that we still use today, and I know Richie Sorensen is on the call. He's Robert's right hand here at PRMG to facilitate loans. Is that what Todd Duncan, if you know who he is, Todd Duncan is to mortgage what Tom Ferry is to real estate, is what he calls the circle of cash. And the circle of cash is to take any contact that you know, put them in the middle of the circle, and let the tree branches grow off of that contact. What I train new loan officers to do regularly is to contact every person in your cell phone. I personally have 3,800 contacts in my cell phone. Maybe you have 20, maybe you have 20,000. Regardless, start at A, and it might take you some time, but go all the way down to Z and call every single person and let them know what you do, why you do it, and who they know that might know somebody, or if they might want to buy, sell, refi, investment property, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That one daily activity could take 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 days, but I guarantee you it will create a lead generation. That's number one. Number two is a program that we offer here at PRMG, used to be called Sales Boomerang. Now it's called Trust Engine. Robert or Richie has access to it. And it's basically a trigger lead mechanism. If you know what a trigger lead, or if you don't know what a trigger lead, most mortgage companies have a credit pull trigger lead. So if I did your purchase or your refinance 2, 3 years ago, and you're in my system, and you pull your credit at your bank for a line of credit or for a credit card, or you apply for a car loan, I will get notification that your credit has been pulled, which will then trigger me to contact you to see what you're looking to finance and can I potentially help you. Most mortgage companies have that. That's very simple. That's the mortgage credit alert. However, Sales Boomerang, our system, if I have your contact information in my system, will trigger if you list your home for sale, the day you list your home for sale. It will trigger if I program equity position and you're a homeowner. It will manage your estimated value of your home against the mortgage principal balance, which might trigger me to call you to refinance in order to remove your PMI if you have it. Call me or trigger me to call you to pull some cash out to pay off credit card debt, so on and so forth. So there's an equity trigger. There is a FICO trigger if I'm monitoring a past client's FICO score in order to potentially help you with refinancing for all those purposes as well. What's really cool is the new feature that they put in with regards to public records for death, divorce, marriage, and birth of a child. All of those are public records. So if I have a past client or friend or family member in my database and I get a trigger for death, divorce, marriage, birth of a child, those are all purchase, sell, refinance opportunities. So those are just a couple of hints for contacts and lead generation, because right now it's all about generating business. Robert, what else can I help you guys with today?
You know what I think? Those are some great things. And by the way, guys, that's the kind of things we need. We need a heads up. We need to work on the lowest hanging fruit on the seller tree. And we talk about this all the time. FSBOs, expired, cancels, probate, divorce, a birth of a child. I honestly have never even thought of that. I mean, I'm sure I've heard it, but that never resonated until today. That's a big deal. When somebody has a new child, that studio or that one bedroom or that they're outgrowing that home, so that triggers we need more space. So that's huge. So Baron, that's and how do they get a hold of you and they'll get a hold of Richie on getting that? Is that something they can do? And Richie, you can talk
Absolutely.
about that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm down here in San Diego. I work from 4 a.m. until midnight Pacific Standard Time. So don't call me between midnight and 4.
You know what? I'm telling you what, guys, that's the real deal. That I literally have seen him out there working because I was doing it too. So Baron, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, and we'll certainly get Richie in to give us our weekly mortgage update. Baron, I have a question for you because of, I mean, there's maybe a very small handful of people that fire me up like you do. What do you want to say to the agent that's on the call or the loan officer that's on the call, and kind of when they're just getting started as far as keeping their mind right, getting their momentum that they need to charge their themselves?
I probably tasked you when we were working together back in the 80s. But the number one thing I tell anybody that I'm engaged with is to read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I think you can even get it online free. But there's several great tools and strategies to kind of focus yourself in the right direction. If you recall, Robert, back when we were working together, what put me on the map was the Mastermind group that I created.
Yeah, the power partners. Yeah.
Jim Carmichael, Patty McKelvey, Sandra Brown, Joe Southwick, Dave Norberg, Chris Heller, Maxine Gellens. I mean, I got them all together and we rocked. And so surrounding yourself with people that can keep you on track, that you can learn from, that you can collaborate with, that you can share ideas with. So being in the right group and utilizing the tools. I mean, there's the game has not changed in 41 years. We're doing the same thing today. Monday, Friday, pump up calls, open houses, broker caravans, right? The same stuff still applies. I've never been a real estate agent, but I think I could be one if I had to, but I'm sure the basics are the same for the realtors as well. But I would keep it simple. Keep it simple. What do they say? They said at USC marketing class, KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, I that is awesome. I love that. And that is the truth. Keeping it simple. We have a tendency to overthink it, overcomplicate things. For instance, calling those FSBOs expired canceled the lowest hanging fruit on the seller tree, scripts and dialogues and understanding. We just saw the Super Bowl. Many of us on this call, whether it doesn't matter what team you're cheering for, those players are top level players. They don't just wake up and I think I'm going to go play a Super Bowl today. There's a lot of training, a lot of stretching, a lot of role playing before they even get on the field. So, and I like to look at that, and that's what we all need to do. We need to make sure we're mastering our scripts. We're going after the lowest hanging fruit. I know we need balance in life. We need exercise, but that's a whole nother thing. But that's the reason why we have to track and measure our numbers. If we don't track and measure our numbers, you're not going to realize where you need the help. For example, if you're working 6 days a week and making no progress, making no contacts, what do you have to show for it at the end of the week? But if you're keeping track, for instance, I want to have 100 contacts this week, whether it be all 3,000 people in my phone, like Baron talked about, that's the best place to start, in my opinion, because they already know, love, and trust you, or at least have an idea of who you are, at least. Reaching out to them and make sure that you're a resource, in this case, a real estate resource. I don't care where they're looking to buy, sell, or invest anywhere in the world. We have a global reach. I just referred a buyer up to an agent of our team up in Oregon. I have somebody in Massachusetts. We're all over the country. That's why Carl and I are in the RV on our cross-country tour. But my point is, we need to be reaching out to those folks. Here's the worst thing that can happen is when they call you and say, hey, I just bought a house in LA. I just wanted to let you know I could have been a resource for them. Don't have that conversation. Make those conversations. Does that make sense? And another thing with farming, guys, and farming is so important. Let people know what you're doing. Sure, work the lowest hanging fruit. Absolutely. Whether you're a lender, you're looking for somebody who wants to purchase or refinance now. Same thing with real estate. You're looking for listings now. We need to work that database and fill that pipeline. So Baron, what other kind of comments that you do to keep your agents, your lenders, your loan officers focused and fired up and tracking and measuring and having the success that you're having?
Well, one thing, I'll give you a little PRMG promo real quick. One of the things that we're really pushing hard right now is new home development. I don't know if any of y'all have any new home builders, developers, anybody that's looking for, in this particular case, financing for buildings. We secured up to $300 million per builder that we can lend. We can allow to borrow a builder that's building anywhere from 2,000 to 2,000 homes anywhere in the United States, with the exception of New York. We don't like New York, and New York doesn't like us. But we're focusing on builders that need capital financing that will go, as I mentioned, up to $300 million loan to a builder at an 85% loan to value on their project. This includes land acquisition, permits, design, construction, labor, materials, all of the above, which is huge. This is a really, really new and exciting opportunity at PRMG for builders or developers. So we're focusing on that. Again, Richie Sorensen can be your contact for those opportunities. And again, as I mentioned, we're just, staying to the basics, back to the basics, building relationships with realtor partners like you all, and providing the best customer service. There was a couple of surveys, you probably won't be surprised. A couple of surveys I read over the weekend. The number one reason a realtor refers a lender partner is communication. The loan officer that picks up the phone, the loan officer that returns phone calls, the loan officer is that proactive in seeing problems and solving those problems. Lenders all have the same rates, and most of them have the same programs, but being honest and communicating effectively is what we're pushing with our guys.
You know what? That is very important. As a listing agent, a lot of times we're working with the lender, we're not quite sure what's happening over there. That's why I want all my buyers to be cross qualified. Absolutely. So I feel confident that I'm actually, whether they do the loan or not, that mechanism's in place. So I feel confident moving forward with that transaction, because there's nothing worse. I can guarantee every single person on this call has had a listing and then the buyer's lender was terrible. It's happened on every transaction, just about. It happens all the time. So that is so important. Things could blow up, rates could go up. If somebody's not paying attention to your transaction, it could grenade, and we don't want that. Our job is to nice, smooth landing. So you got to put all the stops in place. So Baron, thank you so much for all your words of wisdom. I mean, I truly believe, I still things like think big. We had those signs all over the office, man. It was amazing. And I still think about that today. So thank you. I even have stuff on my desk right here.
I
Reminders
love it.
all the time, reminders on my desk. So Baron, I owe a huge part of that to you. So let's go around real quick while we've got Baron on the call. I know he's got a lot of stuff going on. He's got to jump off soon. Is there anybody that has a question for Baron in terms of what's going on in the mortgage space, what's going on in the motivation space, any kind of questions for Baron? This is the participation part, guys.
Oh, if there's not a question, which is just fine, I'd like to close with a story and a poem. Is that okay?
Oh, please do.
So we met in 83. I started doing loans in 89. I was doing it for like 6 months and I did not get a loan. And I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? And I went into my boss's office and he said, you're calling on the wrong people. When you walk into C21 or Remax or Coldwell Banker, the person that's sitting at the up desk is not the person that's going to give you a loan, because they're not doing anything. And so I changed my strategy. I created that mastermind group. I started doing some loans, and I saw my name slowly going up the leaderboard at the company that I was at, and Robert was there with me. And I'm looking at the monthly report and I say to myself, why is Joe Smith in Dallas, Texas closing 20 loans a month and I'm closing 2? And why is Frank Arce in Chula Vista closing 5 loans a month and Roy up in San Jose is closing 7. Why was there such a variance between the top producer doing 20 deals and the other producer doing no deals? Like, we all have the same programs, we all have the same rates, we all have the same manager, we all work for the same company. And I reflected on a poem, and this is called, you can Google it, Princes and Kings. And here it is. It's by Lee Sharp. Isn't it strange how princes and kings and clowns that caper on sawdust rings, all common folks like you and me, are builders for eternity. Each is given, this is the point right here, each is given a bag of tools, a shapeless mat, and a bag of tools, vice versa, and each is given, or time is flown, a stumbling block or a stepping stone. That's it. Lee Sharp. We're all given the same stuff, the same map, the same road plan, the same mentorship, leadership, guidance, momentum, but some people take it and they accelerate, and some people do nothing. That's all I got. You guys have a great day.
Baron, thank you, brother. That was great. Okay, guys, what? I know we all get shy on these calls, but I tell you what, man, that was amazing. I'm fired up. I'm pumped up. It's always nice to hear from others in the industry. My biggest takeaway, guys, we all have the same tools. We all have the exact same time in the day. We all have the same tools in our tool belt. We just need to make sure we know how to use those tools, whether it be coaching, training, mentoring on the online offers platform. I'm working with agents across the country on just that alone, working on the lowest hanging fruit, FSBO, expired, canceled, probate, divorce, people getting married, people getting, having a baby. Those are two markets that make so much sense. And I, up to this point, sure, I've heard it, but never really paid attention to it. That's a good one. I'm going to add that to my list. But I want to work with the lowest hanging fruit possible, because I want to be the guy up here doing the things that I know I'm able to do, that I have all the tools to do. There's no reason why I shouldn't be. We talk about numbers, owning your number. We talk about it all the time. Do you have the shirt? Do you wear it like somebody that's playing the Super Bowl? They have a number. That's their number. What's your number? Make sure we're doing everything we can to arrive at our numbers. And we've talked about this all the time. When I talk about the goals and actuals, the tracking and measuring of our numbers, right? I think we really need to hone in on tracking and measuring our numbers, our days worked, our contacts made, the conversations. What are those conversations like? What are the things we are saying to these people? You've heard this a million times. Our words matter. We don't go to a for sale by owner and ask them if they're paying a commission, because the only reason why they don't want to list their home is because they don't want to pay a commission. So we don't want to use the words that we know for a fact they don't want to hear. You just got to make sure we're prospecting. We got to make the contacts. We got to track and measure those contacts. We got to have quality conversations, because the quickest way to burn out is having the wrong conversation with the right people. That there's nothing worse than turning right out of your driveway and seeing a for sale sign from another company. It's that simple. We don't want our family or friends, people that we have on our phone, whether they're close or not. We don't want anybody had not at least have introduced to the opportunity of what you provide. And that's all we can do. So anyway, track and measure. We've talked about it before. You all have the goals and actual sheet. Let's track and measure. So what I want to do is bring in Richie real quick, and he's going to give us his weekly mortgage update. And then Carla has a few things to go over in terms of staying sticky with your database, the marketing pieces that we need to use to remind people. I'm not an expert in Canva. I'm not an expert in all that stuff. I let her do that. And anybody that's on this call has access to Carla, and it doesn't cost you anything. I want to make sure that because you're on these calls, that you have all the tools you need. We're not selling anything. We just want to make sure that we're all doing the things we know we need to do. Does that make sense? So anyway, Richie, then Carla, and then we'll let you guys get back to work. I know William had a a nice open house. We'll share some wins when we're done here. So Richie, give us the mortgage update. What's happening?
Sure. Thank you, Robert. And so just to piggyback off what Baron was saying, we've got a cool opportunity. If you guys know any builders that need financing to help fund their project, we can help them obtain that financing. But where you and I benefit is the takeout financing. So when they are done and complete or get close to completing the home, we can then help the buyers as far as you being the buyer's agent, and I'll help them with the financing. So that's where if you guys know somebody, yeah, get us in contact with them and we can get ahead of their next project and help them obtain some financing and all benefit from it.
And Richie, real quick, let me just add to that. Think about this,
Yep.
guys. Think about just put it out there in the universe that, hey, I have this financing available for, if you're a builder, this is for you. You get a phone call. You got to put it out in the universe before it even becomes a reality. You got to get it out there. So reach out to your people that you know in that space. If you don't know anyone, find them, introduce them to this, because I can tell you what, there's nothing better than having a builder. They don't just sell one home and you're done. Bye bye. Hope you refer me a business, buyers and sellers later. There's a project that we have access to, and we get to sell all those homes. And the people coming in to buy the home, if they have a home to sell, who sells that for them? That's how the package, it could be an amazing opportunity. And I know Richie will share some marketing so you can put it on your social media, and he'll give you everything you need to get that out there. But get it out to the universe, manifest that, get it out there. Because I tell you what, picking up a builder or two, that would be nice. That's another click funnel, in my opinion. Just like FSBOs, just like Expire, just like working with attorneys, working with builders, is now we have a tool that we could send out there. And we just forward them to these guys. I don't have to do anything. I'm just relationship building. That's big. So Richie, go ahead, continue.
Yeah. So, and then as far as a mortgage market update, last week was a real quiet week, but this week's going to be pretty jam packed. On Tuesday, we're getting our consumer price index, which is going to be released. That's an inflation indicator that is going to affect rates. And then we have our producer price index, which measures wholesale inflation, which is coming out on Friday. We're also getting some housing data. All these things are going to swing one way or the other, where again, the Feds in March said, okay, we're not going to cut rates, but we're also not going to raise them. We might just stay flat, and the market reacted and it went up a little bit. So we're still hanging around at that 6.98% average rate. And again, that 6.98 rate takes in all borrowers, right? So your high FICO, low FICO, it's going to all across the board. So you might meet someone. This isn't a one rate for everyone, but just to give you an average, if someone asks you, hey, what are rates right now? You can tell them, well, an average 6.98, but we need more information. So, of course, next Monday, once I get all this data in, I'll update you guys and let you know what it does to rates. But that's your market update.
Richie, thank you, brother. And make sure you put your information in the chat box so they can reach out to you. I'm really interested in getting the builder information, because that's my head's spinning now. So I was thinking, wait a second, I could take a bunch of listings from one relationship, and those relationships, guess what they'll do? They'll tell their other builder friends. And that's how that momentum gets going. Like REO, working with a corporate seller, they all know each other. Hey, you want a great realtor in San Diego? Call Robert. That's my goal, right? So Richie, thank you so much. And I look forward to getting that information on the builder so we can share with everyone.
I'm going to work you up a flyer right now so you can disseminate it. And
yep, I'll get it out to everybody. So thank you for that. Carla, why don't you go ahead and talk about your marketing stuff that you're staying sticky with these, what you're doing for me and some others on this call. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I know that Robert talks a lot about the marketing and staying sticky, but it's really, really important. I actually do marketing for a friend of mine who's a TC. And one of the things that she talks about is that she gets business because people continuously see her stuff. Even if it's something small like happy birthday or Super Bowl Sunday, whatever it might be, I post something so that way she's always in their feed. The more they see her, the more they think about her. So it's so important to make sure that you're seeing at all times. Not only do I just do her social marketing, but I also send little thank you notes out to clients for her, and those go a long way. Um, and just little things, just little emails that say, "Hey, I'm thinking about you," with her picture on it and her signature line with the dates that she's going to be out. Just little things like that. It's a constant reminder to them that she's there and they can't forget about her. When they go to need a TC, they think of her. I go into group chats on Facebook, and when somebody's asking a question, I always write, call Holly.
And
So it's
Carta,
just
let me just clarify. Sorry to interrupt you, dear. Let me just clarify. The marketing that we're talking that she will do for you for no charge, this is what I'm talking about. She's kind of going off into, because she has some paid stuff she does too. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. You don't get the emails and all that other stuff. She actually is compensated by this TC. But what she is trying to talk about for you guys on this call is congratulations or happy Father's Day. We've got President's Day coming up this coming weekend. Put together a President's Day marketing piece and put it on your social media. Send it to your database. You're not asking for business every single time you talk to these people. You're not
that's what
too,
I
and no, what I'm saying is make sure you reach out to her. I didn't want to interrupt you, honey, but I wanted to show these guys exactly what it is you can do for them.
well, as where I was going with the joining the group chats and stuff is I usually will do a marketing piece like this that has her name on it. So I don't have to say anything. I just plop that in. On anything. It's just one of these little things that I plop in. I'm not saying that I go and I do all her social media and do talking for her. What
Yeah.
I'm saying is I'll just plop in a little photo like this and it sticks in people's mind and they can't forget her because they constantly see her coming up.
Yeah. And my point, thank you, Carter, for this, because I tell you what, I'm terrible at this kind of stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm terrible because I keep telling myself I'm terrible. And maybe that's okay. Let her do it. But my point is, have Carter do this for you. It doesn't cost you anything. So have her put together some marketing pieces. I know a number of the agents have reached out to Carter. She's done great marketing pieces for them. She's done one for Richie right here. You can see on Martin Luther King Day. Uh, Reach out to people in your database by birthdays and all the different holidays. There's always a holiday every single month. It's another reason to reach out to your database. Thank you, Carla. So
One
much.
more thing on that
Oh, go
is
ahead.
that you use these for as well. That's really important is for your text messaging.
Yep. Yeah, I text this, no
Mhm.
message, no nothing. I just send them out. Many of you have probably received mine. If I send it to my entire database, and I sit and do that when have downtime. So that's not number one time. You want to do this on nights and weekends and that kind of thing. Don't consume your whole day with this kind of stuff. You should be prospecting buyers, sellers, and investors. For those of you growing your organizations, reach out to more agents. So, Carta, thank you. Richie, thank you for the update. Baron O'Brien, was that guy? Was he? Come on, was he? He's pretty good. He's a pretty good guy. I didn't want to pump him up too much, but I found myself being so grateful to have him in my life. So I sounded probably like a broken record when I introduced him, but I tell you what, you got to think about who the people that inspire you the most. I would reach out to the top 5 people living, of course, the top 5 living most influential people that pump you up. It could be business, it could be they just get me in a good mood. They like the Chiefs. What doesn't matter? Reach out to the top 5 people that influence you the most. Have a conversation with them. It's amazing where places that'll go. So that's what I wanted to bring up. I'm so grateful that you guys are on the call today. Reach out to Carla and get some of this marketing. Reach out to Richie and get that builder. That marketing for the builders that could be a big deal, guys. So reach out to Richie for that, and reach out to me for anything. If you need anything on your working with more sellers, just reach out to me. I'm absolutely happy to help.